Just going for it. Hey, Nicole, good morning.
Good morning.
Another day, another late night beforehand. Megan's slow rolling it into the next day. Do you want to do the read-in? Should I do the read-in?
You do it. You do it so well.
Okay. Well, thank you for listening. This is Supercharged by AI, a podcast by AI Portland. There's a dog barking. I'm going to do that again. Who is that?
So sorry.
Welcome to Supercharged by AI, a podcast by AI Portland. I'm Megan Notarte, co-founder of AI Portland and partner at Cloud4. I'm joined by Nicole Moores, co-founder of AI Portland and product design manager at Lithia Motors. And this is going to be our last episode in 2024, right? I mean, I guess.
I'm allowed to unmute now, right?
Yes, you are, Gary.
Okay.
It's okay. We just had to make it through that part without Gary making his message known, you know?
Yeah, this is going to be the last one.
I mean, anything could happen.
You never know. Never say never, but this is probably going to be the last one.
For this year, to be clear. 2025.
Yes.
Who knows?
Well, I think our hope and dream is that we do a little bit more investment in this podcast. And that's exciting for me. And I never thought I would ever say those words out loud. I am excited to podcast next year.
Look at you.
You're come a long way.
Podcaster now.
I've come a long way.
Last night we had a super fun social event with our friends at the Technology Association of Oregon and Rose City Techies, and Portland showed up.
Yeah, they did.
There was holiday festivities going on, like lots of holiday sparkle, which was super fun. And it was, you, me, and 200 of our closest Portland friends.
Yeah, it was a blast. Everybody was very happy. I think celebratory of the year and wanting to connect. We drank all the wine. That never happens. That never happens. That's like people were down to have a good time.
Yeah, in an hour, the wine was gone. We were like, oh, cool. Hope you like LaCroix and or beer. Special note, we will have Diet Coke at events moving forward in 2025. There's been a special request.
Promises have been made.
Promises have been made.
And
Mr.
if
Mark
anything, we are women of our word.
Right.
We will give the people Diet Coke.
What do they want? They want Diet Coke. That's right. Yeah, it was super fun. It was really what a kind of culmination of a year that I could not have predicted. Right?
Yeah,
like
it was
Nicole,
a great way to send it out. That's for sure.
Like, last year, it was just like 14 days over a year, I think, where you and I sat on that couch over there, eating baby carrots and talking about AI. And
there was okay.
There was
like people need to know there's like reasons why there were baby carrots. Not like Megan and I sit around eating baby carrots. In fact, Megan doesn't like baby carrots.
I don't.
Within our
within
our friend group, there was a hot debate over baby carrots. And so it was like a particular thing that you were serving me baby carrots on that particular night that we conceived. Right. AI Portland.
We talked about how we needed to have like a baby carrot anniversary and we didn't do it. So maybe for our strategic planning retreat next weekend, I will endure some oddly shaped carrots in honor of this occasion. But yeah, it was just a year ago. And I think it'd be cool to like just kind of recap our year. Spotify does a Wrapped. I feel like we should do an AI Portland Wrapped with some of our like statistics and some of the things that have happened over this year that like I couldn't have predicted, right?
Can we start off by going all the way back to our very first meetup?
Yes.
Because I feel like it is the only one of its kind, right? And we will never be able to replicate it it's like a thing that happened that will never happen again, you know?
Like, what do you mean? What
It
way
was
is so different?
different. I feel like it was intimate. It was almost radical. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just gonna say that, right?
All
Like
right.
there was an energy to it that I just don't think we're like now our scale is forced up, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
there's just something about that first event that's very special. And in fact, people have told me that it is their favorite event.
That's crazy. I mean, it's like the first you were on the panel.
Mhm.
It was the first event I ever moderated. We capped out the space. Gray Box, shout out. Thanks for being our first host. We had LaCroix. We didn't have Diet Coke then either. We just had LaCroix and some chips because it was
Just
just
chips.
you and
I
me
bought them
paying
at the
for everything.
Winco. Yeah, like
Yes.
I bought them at the Winco with my own money. It was like
Yeah,
we have to have something for people. And
exactly.
people were
Yeah.
super grateful. They're like, "Oh wow, chips and soda waters. This is
Hey.
great." Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean the
Um
conversation was very very good and I think very apt for that moment in AI
yeah.
history.
So a few things. We put together a panel originally when Megan and I thought of AI Portland. Like it was just, hey, we're gonna talk about AI. So that first event, like I think there was a hot minute where you and I were just gonna talk about AI and
I mean,
like open the
that was our
conversation.
original plan. Was like, okay, we're gonna do this meetup. I mean, let's just you and I have been like talking about AI a lot. Let's just you and I have that conversation in front of hopefully more than 5 people.
Yeah,
And
but
then
as soon as we sort of put the bat signal in the sky, we started to have these really great conversations and we realized it wasn't going to be that hard to bring in some interesting voices. So, we had David Van Veen, one of our favorite agency owners of Goat Digital. We had Nate
yeah,
from the Open Source Project.
open search, open
Open
search.
Search,
Yeah,
which
which
is
is an
open
open source.
source project.
Nate Boot.
100%.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
Ben?
Ben
Yeah.
from is it Planet Argon?
Planet Argon. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That was a year ago. I feel
I
good
know.
about that recall right there.
Yeah.
And the subject matter was very open. Like, how are you using AI in your work right now? And for the panel, it kind of ran the gamut, right? David is using AI in very sophisticated ways. I think
Yes.
he taught us the word laconic that night.
Yes, I was thinking about that the other day. I
Me
was like,
too.
oh, laconic. It's a good one.
Me
Good for
too.
prompting so that your results are concise and not too wordy.
Yes. And just so folks know, Megan and I do try and balance any sort of conversation or panel we have, right? I think originally I wasn't supposed to be on the panel and we were like, well, we definitely need someone different than these three men.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
decided to put myself on there. And we always are looking and trying to
100%.
balance the perspectives.
I mean, it's yeah, definitely one of our goals to make sure we've got varying perspectives. So that was our January event. Great turnout. What when you think about the year, what's your favorite event?
They're all so different. I
I
think
know.
that is one of the things like that I will say about this last year. AI touches everything. We all know that. I think that it was just amazing to see the different themes emerge and how much opportunity there was to go in these divergent directions under the umbrella of AI. So it's really hard to be like, that was my favorite one. They're all just so unique and special in their own way. As a designer, I feel like the ones we did that had sort of that spark of creativity to it just resonated with me and that sort of side of my being. So the event we had, everyone's a creative director at shout out to Instrument and Mike Crichton. That was a very special event, and there was a vibe to that one that I felt was just like unlike any other event we had.
Yeah, I agree. That was a good one. I think for me, it is really hard. As you were talking, I was like, okay, we did prompt writing, we did hiring and AI, which those are both very, I think, had very practical uses, which was pretty cool. Um, and like our science fair, like I keep saying, oh wait, I want science fair was my favorite, or
Mm-hmm.
like the one the Senator Wyden event we can't not mention, right? Like that was very impactful. It's just so hard to pick one that was like definitely my favorite, because you're right, they're all just so different.
Yeah.
Um, we should talk about some statistics. Do
Let's do
you do
it.
you have any that you want to
Statistics on
share? Yeah.
hand.
Yeah. I just didn't know if you had any. I have some.
Bring it. I didn't know
Well,
we had
I mean,
homework.
I think
Apologies.
I think we should go over like the like standard ones before the weird ones that I've pulled. But we started the year with nothing. We have over 1,500 members in Meetup. We've had over 17 events in 2024, which is more than there are months. So yes, we've been busy. We've our average attendees are like over 65 per event, which is like so cool. Those are, I think, the expected kind of stats.
Yeah, I
But
think one of the stats that it's a little messy, but the amount of Calendly
do you know that?
invites, it's a lot, right? Pulling from just mine,
Yeah.
and I think the fact that it is very high just like shows the sheer
Do you
amount
have
of
the number?
it's a lot. It's a lot.
Okay, we're not gonna
I
say it. Okay.
No, it's a lot.
I was gonna look that up too, and then I was like, maybe I don't want to know.
I know. It's a lot just if I'm looking at the totality of people in Portland and beyond that we collectively and I myself have talked to this year. It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I pulled one, how many working days at the Panera on 164th in Vancouver? How many do you think you
Ah, geez. How many? How many?
11?
Shut up.
Yes. So, and that's just the ones that like I bought something. So if there was something where like I didn't buy something and you bought it, it's not on there. So at least 11.
And mind you, these are weekends.
Yes, 100%. Shout out to the Panera on 164th in Vancouver, because they have some really great booths where we can sit and work for a long period of time. And a lot of our planning and scheming was done there. Number of broken bones.
I didn't break any, so
You didn't break any.
I'm whole. Yeah,
but I
you
did
broke
break two. So epic year for me and my skeletal system. Number of podcast episodes. This is an easy one to find. 14.
That's a lot.
So for someone who didn't expect to be a podcaster,
For someone who didn't even really listen to podcasts before this year, to have participated
14.
in 14 is a lot.
Yeah. So like that was a lot more than I thought we would do. So that's kind of cool. Number of speaking gigs. So what times you and I spoke somewhere, or one of us was on a panel. That is 7.
Okay.
So from 0 in 2023 to 7 in 2024. I mean, that's a great increase. Those were the ones I caught. Any other things from the last year of AI Portland? What about like lessons learned?
I think this is a big theme that has come up in a few different conversations. That if you engage with people, if you ask for things, people will engage with you back, and they are likely to give you the things that you ask for. I think we learned this lesson over and over again, and we've heard this advice from people. Structure your ask and just ask. Put yourself out there, and good things will happen.
Yeah, structuring your ask is a really interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and also like I think we've done a pretty good job of having a vision for what we're trying to do. So people, when you're able to communicate that, I think people do want to take part in that. And I think
Mm-hmm.
maybe at the beginning, we might have been timid. Like sharing that and like asking people to participate. And it's been really fun to see folks come together. Gary has opinions.
He's barking at the garbage man.
I too bark at the garbage man. Yeah, any other wrap up thoughts?
Just that it's been an amazing year. Like maybe one of the best years.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
it's been
the people we have met, and it's so ironic to start a sort of community group about technology and artificial intelligence, and have the best thing about it is the people that we have been able to partner with, meet. We have a
and
great
connect. Yeah.
community, a very solid crew of supporters, and that has just been the best.
Yeah, I think like my heart was so full last night. I feel like I was fluttering around a lot and like taking care of things, so I didn't have a lot of like intense or direct conversations, but like just seeing everybody and seeing people out and talking to each other and like all the connections being made and other people saying that, oh my gosh, like I have to go, but I had some really good conversations with these people. I was like, okay, yes, we are here. You know, AI Portland is primarily here to talk about AI, but like I don't think it's been a secret that one of the goals that you and I have, Nicole, is also just like creating a space for people to connect.
Yeah.
And so seeing, you know, our organizations come together, so Rose City Techies, the Technology Association of Oregon, like that was a thing that didn't exist. That collaboration didn't exist before this year. And then seeing folks come together and make those connections, like I think my heart grew like 4 sizes, you know.
Oh yeah, 100%. Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. Oh, in 2025, we are gonna plan and scheme. I've already said that once. It won't be at a Panera this time, but we're gonna spend the next weekend putting together our goals and vision for 2025 and at least a calendar. So we've got dates set for things. There's going to be some really cool collaborations. We're bringing on some new sponsors. So I guess stay tuned to like what's coming.
Oh my God. Sorry. You're going to have to edit that out. That was gross. I'm still recovering. Yes. There's lots of exciting things coming up in the new year. It's going to be really, I think another, maybe even bigger, better year.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, we gotta set the course. But yes, bigger, better. And I am not editing that out, just so you know.
What?
I'm leaving it in, Nicole. We're going just like, this is us. This is us.
I'm sorry to everyone.
It's December 13th. Like, I don't know. My will for editing is low.
One of my 2025 goals is to learn how to edit our podcast so that Megan doesn't have to do it every time.
One of my 2025 goals is that we find someone who thoroughly enjoys editing podcasts on a quick turnaround. Because I am not a professional.
Call for volunteers.
That's right. That's right. Oh, wait. Quick shout out to our high school volunteer from last night. Toby.
Yes. Toby's adorable.
From Mountain View High School. He took pictures. He helped out everywhere. And he was like, oh my gosh, Megan, I saw you were so busy and I was just trying to find ways of helping without having to bother you. And I was like, he was really helpful.
One of my favorite moments of last night was when we were cleaning up and I went upstairs to see if I could find any rogue cans. And Toby was up there losing his shit over the treadmill desk. Just so excited. And I'm like, if I had just a fraction of your enthusiasm, like I could spread it out, it would be amazing.
Yes, he loves Kiln. We love Kiln. Like
Absolutely. He was very
loved,
impressed. He was like,
yes.
I have never experienced anything like this.
He was doing his homework and he wanted to go in one of the like little booth rooms, even though he could have taken like an entire conference room somewhere, but he was like, this is so cool. Anyway, shout out to Toby. Shout out to Aubrey and Sai, our bartender and our DJ. It was just like created the perfect ambiance for that event.
Agreed.
Let's talk about, you and I have been attending a lot of local events in town lately, and I thought it would be cool to just kind of recap some of them for folks that weren't able to attend, because there's just been some, I mean, Portland is coming alive.
It really is. You can feel it. You can feel it. We're coming back.
Yes, we are. 2025 is the year.
I have a short list. I would be remiss if I did not shout out Design Month. So AIGA put on a pretty spectacular series of design-related events for the city in the fall. There was just a lot of really cool stuff. I went to a photography workshop at J Fram Studio. Shout out Jay. Tons of stuff, tons of programming at Kiln. We even did a couple of things during that month, and excited for Design Month in 2025.
That's cool. You went to a design thing this morning, yeah?
I did. So I went to Creative Mornings, which is I think it's a global thing, and our Portland chapter had an event this morning that was actually super inspiring and touching. So it was the nonprofit called Street Books, and they are a mobile library offering books to our houseless community. So they cycle around to various spots. They go to where the people are, and they give out books. And it was just very interesting to hear their perspective on the issues in our city. And I just want to take a minute to promote their book, Loners. Can you see it?
There, we can see it. Yeah.
Yes.
Loners. Oh, cool.
And this is actually written by them and their volunteers. They read some excerpts, and it's also really beautifully written. So I highly
What's it
recommend.
about?
It's about their story.
Cool.
Yeah.
Street Books' like story. Is that how you say the Street Books?
Yes. Street Books.
Street Books' story.
The making of a street library. So
cool.
highly recommend. And I'm sure the proceeds of this book support their nonprofit.
That's pretty cool. Earlier this week, I was on a panel for Portland's 2024 Digital Rights Day celebration. Hector Dominguez organized a day of, I guess, conversations around digital rights and human rights. The panel before mine was about privacy. So it was Pam Dixon and Dr. Katie Blevins. And their session was so informative. Like I took so many notes. Right? Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, there's so much, like, and I want to go back and watch it. It's on YouTube, so we'll link it below. But one of the things I thought was really interesting is they were talking about protecting privacy in this world, and it's something you and I talk about a lot in terms of like privacy and AI. But they were talking, like, she had a Pam, I think it was Pam, had a tip that was like that if you're, one way to kind of protect your privacy is to use your digital wallet more often. So use your Apple Pay or whatever, or Apple Cash, because it obfuscates your financial data. And so it's just one more layer of being able to connect like your financial transactions to like your other information. And I was like, oh, cool. I love using Apple Cash. And now I can say I'm doing that, or Apple Pay, for my own privacy reasons. But anyway, it was really fascinating. The panel I was on was with Dawn Nafis and Meg Young. And we were talking about digital rights in the age of AI. And it was really fascinating to hear us try to navigate, I think, what is just a really messy time in the evolution of this technology, which you and I talk about quite a bit, but there's reasons to be concerned. And of course, there's reasons to be hopeful. So that was really cool. And I just think, was really cool that the city, that these conversations are happening.
Totally.
And yeah, definitely something y'all should watch. It was very good.
Awesome. I want to shout out to last week where Megan and I attended the Technology Association of Oregon's Semiconductor and AI event. And first of all, never did I think I would be interested in attending a semiconductor event, let alone happy to report I had an amazing time.
Right. I I think you and I both thought like we are not going to fit in here for some reason. But we walked in and we're like, oh, we know people. And the sessions were really fascinating. And there definitely were some things where I was like, I don't know about chip making, for example. But there was so much that we took from it.
There was so much. And like, just if there's one thing I could tell any person here in Portland is like, hey, this industry is a big deal to us here in Portland and in Oregon. And you should educate yourself about the current state of it and learn about it. And the implications that it has for our local economy, education, that was one I did not see coming. Like, we need our school systems to be investing in pipelines so that we can feed our own people into this economy, into this industry. Just so many things I had not considered. That was very enlightening.
In terms of like, the entire ecosystem and the entire pipeline, right?
Yeah.
Of supporting our economy. It was the first time I had heard about the FAST program. I think Tom Weller from Oregon State was talking about the initiative Frontiers of Advanced Semiconductor Technologies. Sounds like an initiative to, I wrote it down. I mean, I took notes. Like, that's how much I was into it, right? Like, I took notes. But it sounds like a really important initiative to try to get businesses and people involved in, I think, some sort of very important grants for bolstering our industry.
And shout out to Elaine for that. That was a great event.
I mean, always shout out to Elaine, right? But it was a great event, and she is exceptional. It's been so fun to partner with her, and then to attend an event that we're just an attendee to see like her magic is very, very cool. What else you got? Anything else in terms of other recent events in town?
We went to so much, and not just like, oh, we went to all these tech things, or Nicole hit every design thing. But we also went to HR conferences. We made the rounds of scenes and verticals that I hadn't had a lot of experience with up until this point. And again, just like, wow, there's so much here to consider. And like, AI is that thing, like, it just affects everyone. And the sort of bubbles we've found ourselves in this year have just been like, just mind expanding,
Yeah, I totally agree. Someone asked me last night, what my perception was on the, like, what everyone's into or where they are at as it pertains to AI. And I was like, are you asking like what I think about that? He was like, yeah. I'm like, well, that's interesting. Nicole and I have really, like you said, we've really had a lot of conversations with people in different industries, different verticals. And my sense, we'll see if you agree, is that there is like a big divide, that there is a section of people who are in it and they are trying things and they're exploring and they're excited, maybe also a little scared, but they are like active and they're experienced. And then there's a lot of people who have issued a prompt or two to ChatGPT, or maybe use something like ChatGPT in a very introductory kind of way, or maybe a very like one prompt, one answer kind of way. And then there's like everyone else.
Yeah.
And that is still a very large group of people. What do you think?
Yes, the everyone else, when I'm coming in contact with them and I am introducing to them ChatGPT for the first time, and I go through it and show them like whatever it is for the thing that they're trying to do, it literally is mind blowing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, I do think you're right that there is like people doing it, people kind of doing it, and then a big swath of no one of them not doing it
like
at all.
Haven't done anything. Yeah. And that's funny. I was at a coffee shop just to meet a friend the other day, and there was a dad and his college age student. She was working on some assignment, and she had a question she was supposed to answer. I think it was like a biology class or something. So there was this she didn't even understand the question, and he was trying to help her. And then for some reason he was like, hey, you are a competent looking adult, can you understand this question? And I was like, oh, I actually did understand the words, but I was like, well, have you thrown the question into ChatGPT? And don't ask it for an answer. Just ask it to explain what the question means. And they were like, what? Right?
You're like,
and I'm like,
use it like a tutor, like a person.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure like that is within the confines of your, AI acceptable use, but definitely know what your school's policy is. But also like, they hadn't considered, because like I said, that like second group of people who maybe have used it in just this like very direct way hadn't considered that there's like another way of using it. And that there's a lot of folks that are in that place.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
It was an interesting question. It was like an end of the night question. I was like, ooh, let's get into it. let's do it. Awesome. Is there anything else in our last like podcast of the year? I know we want to talk about AI companions. I don't know if this is
Megan's
our day
feeling
for it.
like that's a different day, which is
I
fine.
don't know.
Maybe that's actually our last podcast of the year, Megan.
Our companion.
You signed us up for another one.
Or it's just our teaser. I do want to talk about AI companions because there's been a lot that's been happening. And I know you've spent some time with your good friend Claude, who is very human-like.
Yeah, Claude's great. Wait, are we getting into this?
Let's tease it. Let's tease it for another episode. Yeah.
We have things to say.
You
should listen.
And we don't always agree.
No. In fact, I think we often, maybe most times, disagree. I think even when we agree, sometimes you will just take the counter just to like have the conversation.
Yes, totally. Like we might actually agree.
Exactly.
That's what keeps this fun.
I know. I want to shout out our January event. We're looking for submissions. Gosh, yes. So January's event is how are you using AI in your everyday life, not necessarily your work, but your I'm a person life. How are you using AI to maybe hack your life? And that could literally be anything. It could be I used AI to create a plant care guide. I kill all my plants, right? Take a picture.
First one though. Shout out to this plant behind me that's still
alive. I have some that are doing good. You know what I think? These ones are alive because I never think about them. It's the ones that I love and take care of that I kill. I have to ignore them.
They die.
That's what I'm saying. I could take pictures of all my plants, right? Have it identify them. Have it tell me when I need to water it, special care needs or whatever, and ship me out a plan for that,
Hear me out. I also think like people who maybe are into Dungeons and Dragons might be using, or other like tabletop RPG might be using AI to like help them build their stories and stuff that they do. And I would even say, I think some people were like, oh, I have this like work hack Is that not what you're looking for? Listen, send it over.
Yeah,
right?
send it over, submit it. We want to hear from you. I heard a great someone said they were using it last night. Neil, shout out Neil. He said he was using it to get parenting advice. Like, here's the thing that's happening. I need some ideas on how to talk to my tiny human about this. I'm gonna do that this weekend.
Yes.
I have to have a hard conversation with my daughter.
Yes, you do. Yes.
Love her, but
someone else, a woman named Courtney, she was telling me that she has used it for fitness. Like, it was one of the examples we had on a flyer last night. And I was like, yes, please. Yes. Like, that is exactly the kind of stuff we want to hear. So here's the thing. We know there was a minute where we weren't hearing from people, and I thought, okay, like, maybe people aren't actually, maybe they're not using it in this way. That's interesting information. But after last night, I know it's happening.
Yeah.
So please, we want to hear that stuff.
Yeah, the idea is that you'll submit this and then potentially share whatever it is you're doing with our community, so that we can learn from each other and commiserate and get sparks of new ideas, right? Because like, that's one of the challenges, is like use cases. And anytime you're hearing about something interesting, maybe that will lead you to an interesting use case for your own self.
Exactly. 2025, new year, new you, or whatever. January 9th. Come to our event at the very least. It's going to be fun. Are we at Kiln again?
I think so, yeah.
Beautiful Kiln. Awesome. Well, what a year, Nicole. I cannot wait to plan next year. I cannot wait to like write our big, hairy, audacious goals on the board again. And like, so much has happened over the last week. I can't wait to pull those together, all those new and interesting collaborations that have come up. Plot them out. Plan our plan for the year, which definitely will change as we go. But I can't wait. I can't wait to see what kinds of things the community will bring to the community next year.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
Onwards.